Morning, Jeff. Merry Christmas. Morning, folks. Merry Christmas. It's the end of November, actually, but I thought it would be good to shoot a video for you, running you through all the places we've been in the last 12 months that you can watch over Christmas in the hope that it inspires you to head out for a walk or a run. So, where shall we start? Let's cast our mind back to this time last year, last November. So one of the first proper walks I managed after my heart surgery was a 7-miler out from Goresworth near Macclesfield, which had been on my list for ages. So today we're at Goresworth near Macclesfield in Cheshire, and we're going to have a walk out past the church and Goresworth Hall, and then over the fields with some fantastic views to pick up the Macclesfield Canal and then head through to North Road. It's really beautiful. And then right at the very beginning of December, there was a day very much like this, and I headed out to Runcorn Hill Park. It's only a 2-miler, but it's absolutely stunning views. Take a look at this. An adventurer. We're in Runcorn in Cheshire at Runcorn Hill Park. There are some stunning views. It's a lovely place just for a little walk. And this is Beacon Hill. There's a fantastic view from here. We're looking out across the River Mersey, out towards Liverpool, and out on the other side, out towards Ellesmere Port. While the beautiful ice-cold weather continued, I headed back to Macclesfield and headed out to Prestbury and had a walk down beside the river at the Macclesfield Riverside Park. Oh, what a perfect day. Let's start with a walk through the grounds of St. Peter's Church, which is beautiful. The original church on the site dated back to the Anglo-Saxon period, and then in the late 12th century the Norman chapel was built by the monks of the Abbey of St. Werburgh, which is beautiful. Look at the carvings. And then the current church, the oldest part of that, the nave and the chancel, were built in the early 13th century. Over the following 3 centuries, the church was extended and improved. And then most recently, it was restored by Sir George Gilbert Scott, whose work we've seen before in Sandbach. Also in December, as my health began to improve, I headed back to North Wales to do another bit of the coastal adventure, back to running a 7-miler, 7 miles from Moston through to Flint and then back on the bus. Highly recommend the one-way route. You cover more ground, and it just gives you more options. Just make sure you carry a coat to keep warm. So we're starting here beside the Duke of Lancaster. It's a former steamer passenger ship that operated between 1956 and 1979 before being beached here at Mostin Docks. And then it got a second lease of life as the Fun Ship, but the business was plagued with problems and eventually closed in 2004. It's a popular spot. People like coming to look at the old ship. Then I managed to squeeze one last one in just before Christmas. I headed to Lower Withington, which is sort of out past Holmes Chapel, near Goosetree. I just did a little 4-miler. That was really pretty, and just out in the countryside. And here we catch our first glimpse of Jodrell Bank. And then of course Christmas arrives, and it started, as it does every year, with a Christmas Eve Santa run. So I just like to get up first thing in the morning on Christmas Eve, put on my Santa outfit along with sleigh bells, and head out for a run. Again, heartily recommend that. I'll be definitely doing that this year. It was the morning before Christmas, and all through the town, not a creature was stirring, except a couple of old blokes dressed as Santa. Merry Christmas, everyone, and welcome back to the annual Christmas Eve Santa run. And then Boxing Day, always a difficult one to get one in straight after Christmas because you're stuffed full of food. But it's good to get out, and you feel better for it. I headed to Aldlam. I've been to Aldlam before and headed north, so I thought I'd head south and went down to Swanbatch, down the shop hill, just a short one, 3.5 miles, just to be good to be out in the countryside, to allow some pressure release in the peace and quiet of nature. Welcome to Aldlam. I'm parking in this, what is currently a free car park. Let's hope it stays that way. It's an absolutely beautiful morning, and we're going to head down the Shropshire Union Canal. I hope you'll follow along. If you enjoy the video, please give it a like. There's a beautiful red sandstone church, St James's. We'll get another look at it at the end of the route. And here's the Shropshire Union Canal. Nice to see the Shroppy Fly pubs back open again. And there's the bridge inn too, either of which would make a great place to have a drink after your walk or run. Then after Christmas, before returning to work, I figured I was off for a week, so now that I'm working full time, it is more difficult to film for the channel. So you'll have noticed in 2024 there's been fewer videos because I can only really get, absolute most one a week, and even that's a stretch. Once a fortnight is more realistic, to be honest with you. So while I was off, I took the advantage of to go and film a couple of things. So one I did, which was stunning, was Lathkill Dale, which is near Bakewell. It's a limestone gorge. And but it's got sinkholes where the water disappears down holes, and then when it gets wet, it all comes out of the holes in winter. And so when I went, the path was about 3 or 4 feet underwater in places. It was quite the adventure. watch and walk so I don't splash you. Once you're wet, you're wet.
It's cool though, is it?
Actually, it's not too bad.
Huh?
No, it's fine.
Warm, isn't it? Once you get out of the water, it's like bad. So I don't know if that's hypothermia or not, right?
Yeah, I've had that before. I don't want it again. I got another couple filmed just after Christmas and early into the new year. That was, I did another section of that coastal adventure. I enjoyed that, the run through to Flint so much, and Flint looked so interesting that I went straight back there. And I did a section from Flint down to Connors Quay, past the castle. It's lovely there down the front, very interesting. Past Connors Quay power station. So yeah, that was great fun. Again, back on the bus. And then where else do we go? Oh, and then I had a day out, an early morning out, should I say, with the canal runner. And we headed down to Birmingham and had a run through the maze of canals through to Spaghetti Junction. That was just different. Not a particularly long run, what was it, 3.5, 4 miles, something like that. But really interesting to get a view of a place from the canals in a city. I guess we need to go to the top. Cool. Good thing I brought me light. But, I always wonder with locks in cities where they get the water from.
What's this thing? You flow down here and throw down frozen bits.
We're okay. Oh, look at this. Spooky. Oh, this is feeling more like an adventure. Also in January, a couple of my subscribers, Phil and Levi, hi guys, invited me to pop down to Shropshire for a walk with them to show me one of their favourite walks, which was beautiful. We went up Grins Hill and then through to Clive, all new to me, and it was really pretty. Not too far, it was about 2.5 miles, but yeah, memorable. And the view, you could see lots of places tantalising you that you might want to go and visit another day.
Yeah, I never get tired of it.
Look at that! Oh my goodness me, look at that! Don't get too close to the edge. Oh no. Wonder how many people have stood on here over the years. Yeah, look, yes, you can see. We're not the first to stood here, that's for sure.
No. That's quite spectacular down there.
Wow, look at my gum. Then moving into February, I did an early morning dash through to Park Gate on the Wirral to do a 9-miler through to Thursterton. The reason being, there was a section of the coastal adventure that was missing a chunk. So by this point, I've run all the way from Aberdaron at the end of the Clym Peninsula down to all the way round and all the way up and around the Wirral, all the way to Birkenhead, but there was just that one little bit that was missing. So we headed back, and that was beautiful. Just take a look at this. You really can't beat being by the seaside on a Sunday morning. It's going to be a beautiful day. Windy, but beautiful. Yeah, so I was starting to feel a bit better at this point. Famous last words. And so I headed through to Ockleston, which is close to home, and Ockleston Green at Wimbolsley, and did a 5-mile run out through Middlewich and around. Yeah, lovely to be out in the countryside. That's one of those ones that actually, it depends what the weather's like. If it's like it is today, freezing cold, that'd be a nice route. If, however, it's a damp Christmas, wait until the spring. It would have been a bit boggy. But yeah, we went past a couple of nice spots along the way. Okay, we're 4 miles in now, so you might be thirsty. Here's the Bear's Paw at Warmingham, which is a lovely pub. It's open right now. Temptation, no. Be good, Simon. I'm going to carry on. But nice place to stop. It's a beautiful place, Warmingham, actually. This route would probably be lovely on a summer's day. Unfortunately, my recovery was short-lived, and as we come into March, I ended up having to have a day in hospital with chest pain. And yeah, that was not good. But they altered my drugs, and I felt a little bit better. And so I did manage to get out, not running, but back to walking. I had to walk out to 3 Shires Head. If you've not been, that's really pretty. And so we've reached 3 Shires Head. It's a popular place for a swim. Nice and quiet today. In the summer, it can be very busy here. End of March, I had a trip planned to Scotland. I love it in Scotland. So I headed up to Dumbarton on the A82. The A82 is the only road for me. I love it up there. And we headed up the side of Loch Lomond. So we filmed a few things along the way. So at the southern end, we stopped at the Devil's Pulpit. That was a bit spooky. And then halfway up the loch, we stopped at Luss. Had a 1 mile walk there, just to stretch your legs really. And then we headed up, and one of my favourite roads up through Glencoe. And then we stayed overnight at Kinlochleven. I had a little walk from Kinlochleven out to Greymare's Waterfall. Let me see how deep it is here, because it's the best is to get to there and then we can get up. But it depends how deep it is. We're getting closer. Just be very careful. April wasn't the best month, so I ended up in hospital again for a week this time, and by this point I just couldn't walk at all. I couldn't do anything. I was in a lot of pain, but I didn't give up. I bought an e-bike, which, you know, use the electric motor to take the strain, so I can still get out into the countryside. It's very important to me. So I bought the e-bike and I filmed a number of things for you. Just, it's an important point, you know, you do what you can do. If you can sprint, you can go sprint. If you can run. If you can only jog. Walk if you have to. Get on the electric bike, whatever. Just get out in the countryside. I mean, look at this. So, where did we go? I filmed a nice one from Winsford, down a section of the Weaver Valley Way, about 17.5 miles. And I did another one from on the Middlewood Way, from Bollington through to Marple. That's about 16.5 miles. Really enjoying this at this point. I did another even longer one from Congleton down to Stoke-on-Trent, down the Biddle Valley Way, and all the way through, right through to Hanley. That was beautiful. 28 miles, that one. Morning. Morning, Pooch. Here we go, the Middlewood Way. We did this next short section once before, on our way back after we'd been up White Nancy, if you remember. We're going to follow it all the way through to Marple. The Macclesfield-Bollington and Marple Railway opened in 1869 and provided an alternative route between Manchester and Macclesfield, and it also carried stone from Kerridge and coal from Poynton. It closed in 1970. Up ahead we've got a really impressive viaduct. The trail here dates from about 1985, I believe, and it's a really handy way of getting through towards Manchester. We're really lucky to have a trail like this right on our doorstep, with lots of places to jump on and off to create a variety of routes. It's on what used to be the old Biddle Valley line, a train line that used to run from here at Congleton in Cheshire down to Stoke-on-Trent in Staffordshire. It opened in 1860 and primarily to carry coal through to the potteries. But there was also, stations along the way and passenger services too. The stations began to close in the early 1900s and passenger services ceased in about 1927, though it carried on shunting coal through to the 1960s. Today, it's just this beautiful trail. So then we come into June. Starting to get a bit warmer, and I felt like I could run a little bit. So they've altered my meds. I'm still struggling, but I kept trying. So I headed out to just in a local one, did one in Sandbach, showing you some of the newer paths that have cropped up in the last few years in Sandbach, which the locals know about, but they're not on the maps. So I thought lots of other people wouldn't. I did a 4-miler. It was quite the ordeal. It's like a marathon, that. When did 4 miles become a marathon? Oh. Very tempted to use the disabled person's entrance.
That sounds so wrong. I really hope that isn't a euphemism.
Following that, I thought, I better stick to biking a little bit longer. And so I did an absolutely stunning one, actually. Went out to Guildon Sutton, near Chester, and followed the Millennium Greenway. 21-mile route out to Connors Quay, over the border into North Wales and around. If you get a chance, definitely worth paying that a visit. Lots of options for jumping on and off if you're walking. Great way to get into Chester. And so we've reached Northgate Ponds. This would make a great place to get off if you'd like to explore the city centre. It's well marked and it's not too far from here. We're just approaching the 3-mile mark at this point. And then at the end of June I had another week off work, another chance to go and explore, and this time I headed through to the Lake District. So I headed up to Windermere and I started by filming a cycle ride around the southern part of the lake. That was really interesting. The RAF showed up. Then after that I headed up to Whitehaven and I had a little walk around the harbour there. Very pretty. I stayed there because it's just outside the national park and it's a lot cheaper to stay overnight. The following day I went and did one that I've walked before, but I'd wanted to show you guys. And you should, again, it's not an easy walk, but it's so satisfying for the views. I headed up to Buttermere for an 8-miler up via High Style and over the top. If you've not watched that one, it really is a stunning, particularly once I get on the top. It's just beautiful. And I guess the route I'm taking is probably the most direct, so if you're running, for example, you might want to follow this route. But for the walkers, I would suggest using just parts of today's route. So starting from Bowness, you could then jump on a bus and get the 599 through to Ambleside, or the number 6 through to the Swan Hotel at Newby Bridge, and start from there. And then head back using either the ferry or going all the way through to, say, Ambleside. So here we are on the lake. Isn't it beautiful? Last time I was here, I jumped on a boat from here through to Lakeside. You can get a trip through to Lakeside, visit the aquarium, and then it brings you back to Bowness. We're going to take a walk down by the quay, which is beautiful. There's lots of history here to explore. Whitehaven started as a small fishing village in the 15th century, but developed into the third largest trading port in the UK, trading tobacco and sugar and rum and slaves, coal and iron. So in 1700, for instance, 80% of Ireland's coal went out through Whitehaven. Fantastic.
That's not work, is it?
I don't know, it's pretty scary stuff. I mean, they're going so fast, and they're pretty close to the edges, really. I mean, I do know someone who used to be in the RAF, was a pilot, and he said they operate a big sky policy. Basically, they just assume
No one's in it.
no one's in it. As we came into July, I was beginning to rebuild my running a bit, and so I headed to Northwich. Did a really nice, not too far, about 3.5 miles through the town centre, little section of the River Dane and the Weaver. That was a nice day out. I did get slightly nettled though. Bit overgrown. I've been down here a few times, so it's normally okay. Guess we're in peak growing season. Can we see from here? Yeah, so over there, that's Carey Park. So we've been all round there. It follows down the side of the river, crosses over the bridge, up to Anderton Boat Lift. Ooh, I'm going to get a nettling. Oh well. It's all part of the adventure. Also in July, I headed through to Wales to have a look at the Devil's Gorge. If you've not been there, that's really quite epic. About a 4-mile walk it was from Loggerheads Country Park. And then at the end of the month, I headed back to Prestbury because I had it in my mind, because we'd been earlier in the year and headed south. So I thought, wonder what it's like in the other direction. So I went to have a look. So we headed north, 5-mile run. That was really pretty. Lovely spot. If you've watched the video, yeah, I know, I missed the crosses, or the cross, sorry, because it shows it on the map as being off to the left when I reached the pub. But it was just, it's actually just to the right of me, and I just completely missed it. Wow, what a place. There's a palpable atmosphere as silence descends. I kind of wish I'd come in the week, in the winter, and had it all to myself. Yeah, definitely come and pay a visit. It's quite a special place. Look at that. The path is well marked, just keep an eye out for these finger posts, though mostly we're just following along beside the river, which I have to say I love. It's just the sound of the water babbling, it's just really quiet and relaxing. Make a mental note of this point. We'll come back this way across this bridge at the end. Then we come into August. Yeah, high season, it's lovely and warm. And it got me to thinking about something. Just how important it is, the connection you feel when you walk or run in the countryside, and how it changes through the year. So I selected one of my everyday routes, heading out from Elworth through to Moston and the Flashes, and then looping around. The plan being to film that route every month for 12 months. And so I've been doing that now since August, every month. You'll have to wait till whenever, next September, to see the finish item, but I think it's going to be quite special. It's the end of October now. The days are growing short, and the clocks changed last night, so I could have had an extra hour in bed. Or I could come out and enjoy the sunrise. I think you know what I'm doing today. Also in August, I headed out to back to the Peak District, to Cheedale on the River Wye. And I did a nice circular route down beside the river and then back on the Monsall Trail. It was, what, 5 miles was it? I ended up walking back to the car at the end up a steep hill, but I was running. Worth a visit if you've not been, though. Perhaps not the route I show, perhaps not in December or January. I'm guessing the stepping stones won't be passable at this time of year, I don't know. Look at this. And here they are, the famous steps. Cool, and it's just a great atmosphere. Loved it. Wow, that's really something. It's worth coming just to run that. At the end of August, yeah, the chill was just starting to in the air. And I headed out to one of my old haunts, one of the quieter parts of Delamere Forest at Primrose Hill Wood. Yeah, it's hard work actually running, but 3.5 miles. If you've not been, it's if you want a quiet spot for a walk, worth a visit. It's more overgrown than last time I was here. Things do change fast round here. Here you go. So the gorge here has been formed by the water flowing out of the glacier. Then we move into September. And where did we go? Got the bike out. I fancied, this is the thing with, I'm used to be able to go and have a long run. I like to go and just the relaxation of it to run 10-15 miles. But I'm just not well enough at the moment to do that. So if I want to do a longer one, I've got to get the bike out. So that's what I did. And I headed to Runcorn, and we headed over the old Jubilee Bridge to Widnes, and then followed along a section of the Transpennine Trail through to Sankey Valley before coming back via the Manchester Ship Canal. That was a grand day out. I did get a bit muddy though. How'd you get on it? Let's see if there's a track up here. Do you see the light? That's a sewer lamp. So the sewers built up flammable gases, and so they built a venting system to vent it up to a series of lights like this. Worked very well, I believe, and they'd just burn the gases away. So we're on Waterloo Road here. To our left is where they filmed the Archer for 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps, and to our right here they're just putting in this peace garden, which looks lovely. Apparently the stupa has been designed in Thailand and then brought in. They're just putting all the gold leaf on. Then at the end of September, I had a trip out to Shropshire, just south of Whitchurch, to Wixall Moss and Bettersfield Moss. Nearly stood on an adder. It's just on the path. As I got to it, I saw it just at the last moment, did an extra long step over it. I actually had to make 2 visits actually, because the first time I went, the camera died. But about 5.5 miles on the Llangollen Canal, and then around the 2 mosses. Worth a visit. By the bog garden, there were dragonflies flying around me last weekend. Lots of wildlife here, and plant life that's quite rare. The crowberry, for instance. I hope you don't meet an adder like I did, but they've got to live somewhere, and these sort of places are great for them. Yeah, so coming into October, closer to now, my health was up and down, and so some weeks I could run, other weeks I couldn't. This particular week I just wasn't well enough, had chest pain, so I had to walk. So I headed just over the border to Rushton Spencer, which is on the Leek Road, and I did a 3-miler from the Knot Inn. Nice spot. It's a section of the Knot Inn is right alongside the Staffordshire Way, so we did a section of that. Then picking up another path, which is, well, the bit we were on is both the Gritstone Trail and the Dane Valley Way, and then looped around and reached a point where we'd been before when we'd been out from the other side, from Wincor. It's nice, these routes now are starting to join up. Not too far, that was a 3-miler, I think. And then after that, again, the following week still wasn't very well. So I got on the bike. I thought I'd do something a bit different. I don't know whether that's gone down well or not, because it hasn't come out yet. I did a bit of a history and myths video about Sandbach, which I'm not a local. I've been living here for whatever it is, 30 odd years. And so talking about some of the things people have told me over the years, some of which will be wrong, and I'm sure everyone's pounced on me in the comments. But it was quite interesting, I thought. And then where else have we been? I had again, not feeling very well, managed a short walk out at Holmes Chapel, home of Mr. Styles, of course, and down by the river. Sometimes you just want a short route. That one was only about 2 miles. Into Staffordshire, and we're at Rushton Spencer, and I'm starting here on Station Lane at the Knot Inn, which is a 19th century railway inn with good food and drink, and it's dog friendly too. It stands beside the old Macclesfield to Uttoxeter line, and the station next door has that distinctive North Staffs railway design. Here's a piece of history in my own backyard, an old Murgatroyd sign. They were a big employer around here. They started in Middlewich, making salt from brine, and then opened a plant here at Elworth in Sandbach. They had a vacuum salt plant and then a chlorine caustic soda plant that used electrolysis, which is interesting to me because they used the Hargreaves bird cell, and I'm a direct relation to James Hargreaves. And I've walked down to the River Dane. It's a beautiful river as it glides slowly past. It runs between Buxton and Northwich, and of course there's the Dane Valley Way here. So this is just a really short section of that, heading down beside the river and then looping back through town. If you turned right here, you'd head through to the viaduct. We've been that way before, and under the arches you'll see lots and lots of writing left by people who are big fans of Harry Styles, who of course is from Holmes Chapel. And then moving into November, where did I have been in November? I headed down to Frodsham and over on the marshes, and then you get some fantastic views. It's the end of the River Weaver, and so you've got where it joins on to the Manchester Ship Canal. So you can see the River Weaver, Manchester Ship Canal, and the River Mersey, because the Manchester Ship runs right next to the River Mersey. And then you can see Runcorn, and of course looking across to where I started at the beginning of the year at Runcorn Hill Park, back on a beautiful December morning like this. Then where else then? So we're almost up to the end now. Last one. Last week, and the video I'll be editing today, it was at Market Drayton. I did a 4-miler at Market Drayton, down the Shoppy. Beautiful autumn colours. Really, really pretty. So I'm hoping that's going to make a lovely video. I don't know, depends where you're watching. If you're a subscribed member, you won't, you'll have seen more videos by Christmas. And of course, some of the videos I've talked about today are just for members. I'm not trying to force you into membership, but if you are interested, it's £2 a month on Patreon, and you get a little bit more behind the scenes and a few extra videos. So, have any of those caught your fancy? Every day is a gift. Get outside, make the most of it. So, if any of those sounded good to you, why not go and give them a go while you're off over Christmas? You might just discover something new. That's it. Wishing you all a very, very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's hope 2025 is a good one.